I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always thought we would make it, but now you're gone. Baby, you're a ghost. I'm caught up in a landslide.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first game of the Immortal division. We got a good one today. It's Dark Omen taking on Flourish in game number 1 here. I'm KingFsher, and with me I got Zex to cast this set. Zex, are you excited to get into this one?
I am pumped. I'm seeing lots of great names on both these squads. I'm excited to see how this goes and how this plays out. Both these teams are going to be firing on all cylinders coming up for week 1. So I'm anxious to see how this first set plays out.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see, too, the picks and bans. It's been a lot of back and forth stuff this season. I know Scouting Grounds, we saw a ton of Mage ADCs, and in our first Godlike game of the year, it was all focused on junglers. So already, not really seeing either of those, but their Mercury and Hebo are both going to be taken out. Not the most traditional junglers in the world, oh my gosh, but still both really strong at the moment.
Yeah, very strong, especially with Merc, with how crit is right now. Merc, crit being such a very strong tool to have, especially with the Mercury. So getting him off is important. On top of that, with the jungle ban, is Al Kwong is also being taken out. Another strong jungle we've seen come up to the ranks. Season 10 has kicked off.
Yeah, this Chaos team really valuing the magical junglers and a cleanup ban. That's not normally one of the top junglers we see taken out. I'm really surprised we didn't see a Thor ban in this. He's been looking insane all season long, so I would definitely like to see one of those teams lock it in and finish up with a Soul. Soul being the only magical ADC taken, do you think these teams are going to go towards that in the draft phase or just kind of wait it out?
I kind of want to see them wait out a little bit with how ADC can be such a finicky role right now in season 10. I think you want to try and wait as much as you can to kind of play around and see how the comp is, and then draft around what you think is going to be diving you. I think is the best way to kind of play around that role at this current moment. But yeah, I'm interested to see if we do see those mage ADCs run it in this game, or if we're gonna see some physicals. Speaking of that, there's the Freya right there, locked in by Dark Omen.
Yeah, question answered. Freya, one of the strongest, if not the strongest mage ADC. I think Soul kind of the only one that comes close. Kronos and Oleron still insanely good. Maybe not quite on the tier that Freya is. And speaking of, there we are going to see an Oleron. If it is locked in, we're going to see 2 magical ADCs. And I really like that because both these teams now, you kind of think mage ADCs come on a lot later than the traditional physical ADCs. So it tells me that both these team comps are going to be going late game, and it's going to be really important to see which one gets the lead early.
Yeah, definitely. Especially the trade-off as well is mages are typically a little bit squishier than your average physical hunters. So there's a little bit less room for mistakes with every auto hitting a little bit harder than it typically will. And it's going to be interesting. Obviously, opting not for the Olo, they actually swapped it out for the Kakal and the Morgan Le Fay, but a very strong front line as well as a strong mage for that mid lane.
It really is, and I love that Kukulin pick. That was one of Partroclez's really iconic picks from last season. Ended up winning the Challenger Championships. I believe did play it in the finals as well, so both a good pick and the meta and good taking it away from him. And the Morgan Le Fay surprises me a little because they did reveal Oleron, so they're going to have to pick that third or it's going to be banned away. But also the Merlin's open, the Tiamat's open, some of the more traditional mids that we've been seeing this season.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really interested to see what they go with that. I'm pretty sure that Morgan is going to be destined for that. To the answer though is going to be interesting because mage picks have been kind of all over the place I've seen, but like you were saying before, there's the Merlin to answer to the Morgan Le Fay right there, and Merlin, great god, lots of AoE damage, lots of zone control from this mage, so a very excellent pickup whether you're sieging or defending.
It definitely is, and knowing JoyWolffe, this is 100% a Fenrir support. I like this pick. It's a really, really aggressive physical support, unless it goes jungle and I just look completely silly. But I do think it's going to be support, especially with dual magical already locked in. I think that might cause a Chaos team to maybe misban a little going into the second wave, but we're still going to see what they're going to pick up. Do you think it's going to be that Oleron or the well, okay, nope, not the Oleron. POSTDRAMA's Ganesh.
Yeah, POSTDRAMA's Ganesh gets selected off for Flourish, and now that Oleron is, hanging up and dry and free for a ban if Dark Omen sees fit to take that away from them. Do need an ADC, so it does make sense for them to take it away. Those sanctified fields can really cause problems in a team fight.
Yeah, they definitely can, and I'd be really interested to see where the bans go from these teams. They're taking a little bit of time talking it over, but I think the one, or no, they aren't. I guess both are missing junglers if we're assuming that Fenrir is ADC, but Atlas taken off the table, so they don't think that the Order team has their support yet. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the players know more than I do here.
Yeah, maybe they're not entirely sure. I have seen Joy get a little spicy. I do know Joy likes to kind of take whatever he possibly can into that support role, and Fenrir, another one that we have seen Joy play before. So I'm interested to see if that's what they're leaning towards. That also has the opportunity for a great flex pick into that jungle, though.
It definitely does. I mean, no matter how much we talk about where it might go, it does, like you said, or afford them rather a lot of flexibility in that draft. Who knows? Maybe they can still get a really, really good support even with the bans, and they elect to throw it to the jungler. But a Guan Yu ban as well. I like that from solo lane. I think along with the picks like Colin and even the King Arthur are looking really, really strong this season. It should kind of make sure that the Chaos team is able to get some pressure over there on the solo side.
Definitely, and I'm also just your average Guan Yu kind of stan. I think he's great at what he does. That amazing dive off the horsey. The heal for the team. He's just got a lot of great utility in that character. So taking him off the board makes sense to me. And finally seeing that ADC pick finally locked in, that Rama is going to be going right to Doctor Killjoy. A very standard pick for Killjoy that we've seen in the past too.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm used to seeing this up on Remarkable Wolf, but we're finally going to see it piloted by someone else, Rama, in a really, really tough spot, or sorry, good spot right now. And then Nike Odin. That is okay. I was not expecting that. Where do you think those roles are going to shake up?
That's a little bit interesting. I want to almost say, like, I kind of want to go for the spice. I think this Nike is going to go into the soul lane. I think we might actually see a Odin support and a Fenrir jungle, or the Odin and Fenrir can swap, and the Odin can go jungle and the Fenrir stays support. I'm
Yeah, if
really
it
not
is,
sure.
Yeah, if it is a node in jungle, just make sure they need to get more than 667 damage. But we are gonna see, as all the teams are locked in, Fenrir's still staying with JoyWolffe for the moment, but I think that's enough speculation from us, so we'll throw it right into the match and see you back here for game number 1, Dark Omen versus Flourish.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always thought we would make it, but now you're I'm pulling out the parachute, jumping out the plane. You had it all in front of you, nothing feels the same. It's crazy what love can do, even crazier when it's not coming back to you. You say you need space, so I gave you all the states. Every night a different place. Used to think we're getting close, and now we're drifting away. And all I can say is that I'm feeling wasted. I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you.
Yep. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We're into match 1 for the STL for the Immortal Division. This is Dark Omen against Flourish. Once again, my name is Zexous, joined by KingFsher.
Yeah, and it's going to be exciting to get into this, and I do want to say I was right about the Fenrir support. Makes me feel very happy, and I want you to remember that next time I completely butcher where gods are going. So maybe I get a little bit of credibility there. And this 3 physical comp is an interesting one from Dark Omen. I mean, having the Nike, the Odin, and the Fenrir, there is so much aggression that Flourish just doesn't have in their team comp.
That's a whole lot of front line and lots of protection for those backline carries coming from the Dark Omen's composition. So if they play a strong front line, they should be able to just kind of run it down and not have too many problems. Although the dive from A1 on this could call and then post-drama on the Hunbats could pose some problems. Steve taking a ton of damage already, so he's going to be forced to have to play back a little bit, not to get picked up by the elephant being piloted by Chris, but
Yeah, and I think there's one other thing we didn't quite cover in picks and bans. JoyWolffe tries to get aggressive. Good silence from Crisp, though. POSTDRAMA's coming. I don't know if he's going to go for a gank. Odin's close, and they're not pushed up too far. It looks like he's going to try it. They spotted out, though.
And overhead smash will not connect onto JoyWolffe or Steve, so we'll be able to save that. And out goes the monkey, but the Rizzler is standing on by as Post is on this defense Scorpion right now. Going to find the stun off of the shot. Overhead smash is good, but Post is falling a lot lower than the Rizzler, and is going to be forced to go back under tower. Nice little silence off of Crisp is going to stop JoyWolffe in his tracks as well.
Yeah, it is, and now they might be looking for POSTDRAMA. JoyWolffe coming around back. Hunbots might be too deep, and Hunbots, oh, good
A
whoop from
nice
Freya.
dive, a whoop coming from Steve. Still running it down, though. Are starting to get low onto the side of Dark Omen. Flourish is looking for, does find a lot of damage. Going to force the retreat off of Dark Omen, and that's going to be all she wrote in that. No first blood, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yeah, I think unfortunately there for Steve, that whoop might have done more good for the Hunbots than it did harm. I was gonna say, before POSTDRAMA started rotating over, we didn't talk about it in picks and bans, but when we look at this Dark Omen team, everybody here, besides Anon Steve, has played together before, they're all friends, so I'm expecting this roster to have a lot more symmetry, or chemistry, not symmetry. JoyWolffe dropping really low, gonna have to go back to base, but maybe gives a little bit of extra farm for the Freya. It doesn't look like Flourish are going to look to push us. I'd at least be trying to get a purple invade or something there, now that you know the Fenrir is not present.
Definitely. Never a bad thing to give your Freya a little bit of extra farm as well, and JoyWolffe staying alive there is definitely the key, at least right now, for Dark Omen to really try and not give up any leads early, and that, as everyone has gone back to their tracks. Looking at the purple buff invade coming here from Flourish is picked up, gets whooped off by Steve, and we'll be able to take it back under safe and sound to confirm the buff.
Yeah, I like Flourish trying to get aggressive there onto the purple buff. Unfortunately, wait a little bit too long. Now over here in right, Patra's got a pretty big health advantage, and the ultimate can really effectively force Owen out of wave here. Does it get the damage? Good leap away from Kakolin.
A great leap away will save his life for now. Good on
Uh-oh.
Patra to hold the ult, but here comes the Rizzler looking for a little bit of trouble. Might look for to try and secure off this first blood on the A1. Does know isn't able to really go Is good. Stops the back off from A1. Is got one more on to do it, and first blood to the Rizzler, but it isn't going to be good enough as A1 will be able to catch him as well under tower with a few tower shots, and that's going to send the Rizzler back to base as well. So a 1-for-1 trade. However, the first blood going to the side of Dark Omen.
And now we see a return kill. POSTDRAMA gets one onto JoyWolffe. And that was a really good Odin blink into the tower, but I don't know why Rizzler didn't jump out there, didn't use it in the kill. Maybe just off on targeting, but regardless, does get the first blood bounty, so that should at least make up for going down there. But now POSTDRAMA's got an opportunity, not going to invade jungle, but gets a kill anyway. And the junglers stay pretty even.
Yeah, a very good answer back as well from POSTDRAMA, and that's kind of what you need to do in a scenario like that where the gank early goes to solo and finds the first blood, but at the same time, it's not even the worst thing because you are still getting that trade, so not the worst thing in the world if you're a ill Flourish fan.
Definitely not. Now POSTDRAMA getting aggressive. Good whoop. Rizzler's here. Can they turn it around?
Forced to jump out from post. Rizzler knows that Steve is not looking to continue off this fight, so decides to bring it back, and the Rizzler has sensed out Crisp heading towards that mid lane.
And now we're going to see Chris stepping up to the wave some more. And this is kind of surprising. We really haven't seen much action in mid. It's kind of been the theme all season. Junglers are so active on the map, but we've really seen it over in duo and solo. The mid 3v3 is kind of transformed into a mid 2v2 before our very eyes. Sad to see the fall of a dynasty like that. Now fighting over the Totem Aku. Does give you 10% increased damage when you're in that field, so when that's up, we can see a lot of brawling from solo laners as POSTDRAMA is rotated over to solo, looking for a kill onto Patra.
Definitely is aware. Here he comes POSTDRAMA. Doesn't have the Fear No Evil available, so isn't able to take Partroclez off guard with that. However, is going to be looking towards Patro's blue buff, though, as Patro does sniff him out, is going to come to try and defend it, and is going to secure it for himself. A very nice play coming from Patro, and now is going to smack up the monkey a little bit. Ultimate is going to be used, and Null Zeus will be good. Jump coming in from the Rizzler. Cage coming out is going to stop the Flourish in their tracks. One more on to do it. There comes Ragnarok from JoyWolffe. Rizzler picks up POSTDRAMA. Isn't done there, though, and Patro is going to sniff out one of his own, sending A1 back to base. That's a very nice 2-for-0 for the Dark Omen boys.
And that is exactly how you counter gank. Great job from Dark Omen, creating a mana advantage over there, and ult advantage. I mean, the Fear No Evil from POSTDRAMA did absolutely nothing there. Good Ragnarok from JoyWolffe to kind of immune that and hold them all in place. Now Dark Omen are gonna have a lead. They're still down in gold. They have more kills and I'd say arguably more map pressure. I'd be really interested to see where they turn this to, if they keep looking for those ganks and fights, or if they try to focus on something like the Gold Fury, which they have a lot better wards around, I think.
Definitely agree with you there, and not a bad look at to try and sniff that one out instead. I also did want to quickly highlight the patience coming off the Rizzler with that Odin cage, waiting for both the jumps to be used and then popping it down to really corner them.
Now we're going to see a return.
That's a big amount of damage coming off of the Merlin here as the engage coming off from Dark Omen. Lots of damage. Here comes the Dharmic Pillars. Is going to catch up the Rizzler. Has the silence on him, but isn't going to find too much. Here comes the blink coming in. Realty going to be in flame kills with that. And here comes some snipes. DRkILLxJOY puts JoyWolffe in the dirt. That's one coming for the Rama. And they are all walking right towards that left-hand side. Maybe looking to finally play the Gold Fury roulette. As gets picked up by Killjoy, and Flourish should have no problems really, but Steve does sniff him out. RawToasts also around, taking a lot of damage off that overhead smash from POSTDRAMA, gets the flicker and will force him out. But in on Steve comes and catches Chris sleeping. That's going to be one for the Freya. Won't be able to secure out the Gold Fury for Dark Omen, but is going to at least find one for himself. Re-engage coming in off of Dark Omen. RawToasts claims up POSTDRAMA. Ragnarok used by Killjoy is going to pick up Realty, sniffs out the beads, and the Rizzler bird bombs Realty into the ground. That's another one for Dark Omen.
Great response from Dark Omen onto that Fury. They're still going to end up with the downside of that gold trade. They are sitting about 1,000 behind, but I really like that response. The wherewithal to get Toast out of there at first, keep his HP alive, and a great job by Anon Steve, making sure that Ganesh is down early. No Dharmic Pillars for secure. And now, Tide Swing again to Dark Omen after a really good mid-fight from Flourish. This is a really back and forth game.
Yeah, it's really anyone's game as we've seen so far. We've had the trades with the first blood as well as the trade for the gold fury, still finding a little bit of profit for Dark Omen, at least not getting the gold fury, but getting some kills to boot. And now Patro is going to find another gank on the post drama. Sentinel Zeus is forced out, so we'll be able to back into the jungle to claim his own blue buff as JoyWolffe finds himself on the run off from an elephant.
A wolf running from an elephant. Never thought I would see the day, but indeed, Crisp does have a 2-level lead. JoyWolffe now getting aggressive under Realty. No follow-up, though, so maybe just trying to draw some relics, but Morgan already has beads down. Maybe trying to force a shard there?
Yeah, not too sure. Might just try to look for anything possible. Not too sure Toasts was around to even really follow up coming off of that Fenrir stun, but alas, no harm, no foul. A little bit of damage never hurt anybody anyways.
Very true. Would have thought he had Prophetic Cloak, but instead it's going to be on Crisp. It's the elephant I'd normally expect to see running at people. But now POSTDRAMA is on his way to mid lane. And yeah, I know we said on the desk that we were expecting to see post-dramas. Ganesh normally plays support. Big ult from JoyWolffe.
Is going to find out the exchange ultimate coming from Realty, but might be in trouble. Fear no evil is going to corner off this Fenrir off into the Dharmic Pillars, but the response coming from RawToasts and the Rizzler, but the Rizzler might have come in off more for you as Realty sends him back to base packing.
And that was a sensational play from Crisp. Dharmic Pillars in exactly the right spot, silencing out the Odin so they couldn't kill the Morgan Le Fay. Really, really textbook play from Ganesh there, and a great counter engage. Might still be looking for RawToast, but he has beads in 10 seconds, probably has a blink. Indeed, the elephant just going to go back to his own jungle.
Definitely, and then RawToast looking for a little bit of extra damage coming on Realty, looking to stop any backs, and successfully manages to do it, and will look for a back himself. As
yeah, now I think
goes in the jungle.
Oh, poor Lonely Wolf. The red buff's down, not much to find there. And I think this is normally around between the 10 to 15 minute mark is around the first time we take a look at builds. And looking at it, there's some surprising stuff. I mean, Morgan's tablet only has 7 stacks despite building it second item for going that starter. Oh, Morgan has an axe. Okay, I didn't even notice that. That is something. I don't think I've seen that before.
Yeah, I haven't seen any mid laners kind of go around with the Warriors Axe either. It might be cooking something, though, as well, as Partroclez is walked into a gank with the Elephant. It has a Dharmic Pillar stuck, but Sentinel Zeus does get used up. Going to buy a little bit of time with the shield. JoyWolffe is on the prowl, though, and is able to sniff out A1 and Crisp off the top. As well, going on to the duo side. Might be another gank. Steve going to be in trouble. Finds a monkey for his troubles. Whoop going to be good. Going to get a little bit of time. But one more jump from post and be good. Will be forced out into Valkyrie's discretion. Here is looking for snipes. Cover Killjoy. 2 no good. One will find, but one will not find the death of Anon Steve. We'll get to live on another day. First, they're going to look for a little bit of damage on post-trauma and will find it. Fear no evil coming out on the Rizzler. Couple shots at do it. His cage is good and will buy time for his life. Gonna go back in on the post-trauma. Jump is not good to secure the life of the Hunbats, but the Rama will secure the life of the Odin, and down goes the Rizzler.
Indeed, he does fall. Waited a little bit long on that leap. Would have liked to see that off the stun instead of going for an auto. But regardless, does make a lot of space for Freya, and now Partroclez has teleported over. Maybe they're looking for a Gold Fury. Oh, but Realty shuts down JoyWolffe. That is not going to help their chances. It's a 5-on-2 with Hunbats on the way. Nike needs to get out of dodge.
Definitely, Patro is finding himself in the trouble. A very nice double whoop coming off from Steve. Going to be able to get by Patro some time to get out of there. RawToasts is around, so if they do try to want to contest for a Gold Fury, Flicker being used, and now the Merlin is back. T1 tower.
And I don't know if I would contest this. I mean, Gold Fury is important, but you're only 1,000 gold behind. 15 minutes in, it's not the end of the world. And their team doesn't have any big real steal opportunities other than Patro. Just going in there, popping the Sentinel Zeus, and really, really trying to make some magic happen. And I think we missed it earlier because there was so much fighting. We didn't get a chance to talk. That gank on the solo lane, Partroclez played that absolutely beautifully as Nike. We see a lot of players kind of panic in those scenarios, but trusted his abilities, stayed in the range, unable to get a turnaround kill, but a really good job by the Nike, and still keeping up with the levels with the Kakolin, despite Kakolin kind of winning most of that lane, as we see right now, putting some damage on. The damage is on Crisp, can't find good CC though.
Definitely. Crisp decides to run it back at JoyWolffe with a nice knockup. Will find himself under tower. Not enough damage to secure the death of the elephant. And with that, it's going to be a little bit difficult going with that cloak paired up with the Thebes. So it's going to be one tanky little elephant there. But yeah.
Yeah. Is gonna be a tanky elephant indeed. A lot slower stacking those Thebes stacks, though. JoyWolffe already has a protection proc for his team. Needs some more for himself, taken down to half HP by POSTDRAMA. Now we're gonna see Flourish start to look towards his Gold Fury. It's grown to a 2,000 gold difference, so maybe Dark Omen do want to take this fight. But now Steve does have a level on DRkILlxJOY. It's really going to be interesting to see how these ADCs play this fight. Killjoy backing could be a small opportunity for Dark Omen if they want to send RawToasts to left, but instead Flourish engaging, looking for JoyWolffe, not going to find him.
Yeah, JoyWolffe just being able to get a little bit far enough away from that silence to really negate any potential fallout coming from that. Primal Fury does get looked at by Flourish, and they are gonna look around instead dropping it, looking for some Dark Omen boys to see if they can't find a pick going towards it. Are joined up by Joy, the Rizzler, and Pastro, and we see RawToasts hanging in the mist as well. So this Gold Fury will not be going for free, and onto the run. Looks like A1 is going to get hit up. Fear No Evil coming out is going to take out the Rizzler. Rizzler falling low is going to force on the retreat. Sentinel Zeus will be good, and Anon Steve will be able to pick up Crisp, but into the backline, being chased off. RawToasts under tower is going to get snagged off by Realty. Down falls the Merlin, and another one is going to be forcing Dark Omen to retreat back.
And that was an interesting fight. The first real 5v5 we've seen of the match. And I gotta say, I don't like how either team split up so easily. Both dives got into the backline for absolutely free, but now JoyWolffe might be paying. Dropping low, but Anon Steve picks up POSTDRAMA. Can they get a second on to Ewan? Yes, they can. Tide's turn. Dark Omen pick up a third in the back, and the Gold Fury is opened up.
I need an ambulance, but not for me is the name of the game for Dark Omen right now as 3 fall down, and they're now able to rekindle each other and go and look at the Gold Fury. Flourish is aware, though, as Crisp and Realty are around. JoyWolffe gonna have to be careful. Dynamic Pillars is gonna snag up JoyWolffe! That's one for the elephant! Not gonna be able to... And Realty snags another! Wasn't too sure who's confirmed the Gold Fury right there.
Flourish.
So Flourish was able to secure it for themselves, as well as knock down a couple in top, but now the elephant is in trouble as Partroclez from downtown is gonna snag him, but Realty on the back end is gonna snag Patrick for himself, and now A1 is in trouble as he's getting walked out by 2 of Dark Omen, but here comes the Fear No Evil from POSTDRAMA, and it's gonna smack down Steve. You gotta think about what you did, going back to the base on that. Now RawToasts is decided gonna try and take a 1v1 POSTDRAMA, but joined up by Realty. Knockup's gonna be good. One more on to do it. POSTDRAMA secures the kill. Double kill for the Hunbats. And that's going to be another one for Flourish, as are able to regroup and take what they can in the jungle.
And Flourish has shown us this game. They are a great turnaround team. We saw it in the early, and absolutely just turned a 2v4 into, what was it, 3-4 kills in a Gold Fury just because they felt like it. Really like seeing that gameplay. And now that Morgan Le Fay is going to continue in this build path, I'm not sure. I think I like it. Has been getting dove a lot and has only died once. Definitely working out as now Rizzler tries to go onto Joy. Up into the air goes the Rama. Has no help on the way, though. It's going to be a 1v1. Rizzler misses, though. Killjoy should get out pretty safe.
Yeah, Killjoy getting getting that rollout as quick as can be, is able to get away from the jump of the Rizzler. So we'll have that safe. Right now, Flourish has this Pyromancer picked up, but is aware of it. Fear no evil is going to come in, but won't be much else after that. Just a dying Pyro at that as well, coming into the backside. A1 in a little bit of trouble, is going to get pushed out by the Rizzler a little bit. Here comes that monkey toss, finds a couple, but isn't going to find much else. Here comes the Blink Ragnarok coming in from Joy, but Joy finds himself in a little bit of trouble and is going to be taken down by DRkILlxJOY. DRkILL's drop is going to send Patro packing back. Still alive, but not much for longer. A1 is going to clean up Partroclez, and back on the tower, here comes the Rizzler. Is going to get completely walked down by A1. Realty picks up one, and right against the corner is RawToasts, but not for long, as Realty's going to secure that one too for the double kill for the MLF.
Now we see Freya split pushing, gets a tier 1 tower, but it should be a tier 2 in mid here. I'd expect, yeah, Chris gonna go ahead and head in now. Now Flourish are gonna get this mid tier 2. I believe they still have a runic bomb in pocket. I don't think they quite have the structure damage or the HP bars to try for this Phoenix though. If I was them, I would back, reset, and get ready for a Fire Giant. They're finding the advantage in all these fights, can definitely push it further. And look at the level discrepancies. 4 levels between supports. That does not feel good if you're Dark Omen. It's going to make it really, really hard to step up to these fights.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the time, it's going to feel like you're waiting for that re-engage almost, instead of being able to be the engager, try and force out things before, and force mistakes on the back. You're waiting for kind of the call to action, and that's kind of the big difference here. Being having a support, unfortunately, 4 levels down, especially with a Fenrir who wants to get aggressive, get up there, look for a lot of those Blink Ragnaroks. Now Joy's gonna have to be a little bit cautious on which target he goes after.
He definitely will be, but I do like the way Dark Omen is playing this. They're looking for individual picks. We've seen the Rizzler and Partroclez especially kind of flying around the map, looking to make those 1v1s to kind of whittle down that golden XP lead. And Dark Omen, they're still playing aggressive. I like that they're not shying away from these fights. Definitely speaks to the confidence of their team. When this game goes later, I think they're definitely going to be much closer in it. Just a matter of surviving to that point. I would not step up to this Gold Fury. I think this is kind of a bait. We're going to see what happens, though. They are here. Ragnarok takes Crisp away. Can they steal it? No, they cannot.
It does go down to Flourish. Ragnarok does pick up Crisp, take him away. But here comes the Rizzler with the cage up to the sky. Is DRkILlxJOY. DRkILlxJOY just get dropped, but it looks like the Realty is what they're running at right now. Not going to find a whole lot of damage onto that one tanky MLF. Is going to be walked away. Jump in coming from Partroclez. Sentinel Zeus does get popped up. Is able to walk away. Has a little bit of shield left to work with, but is going to force out Flourish onto the right side. Realty chucking out a couple of fears. Might try and find something, but is just going to force the retreat off of Dark Omen.
And now I'd like to see Dark Omen do something with this massive rotation aim. They get Crisp up into the air. Elephant dashes away. Everybody dropping low. In on Steve into the air. Survives. Dark Omen are going for an ill-advised push. Can POSTDRAMA find a return? Jumps out.
Not able to, but Realty might have an answer for JoyWolffe. JoyWolffe gets sent down and might not be done there. Rizzler is finding himself also stuck, but is going to be able to walk away after the silence from the Elephant does time out. Steve, though, doesn't even realize that A1's in the back creating absolute havoc, and now he's going to run down RawToasts, forces out the Aegis, one more on the do it, and A1 finds himself a double right into the back as he's walking in between the Phoenixes, and the cage was going to get him stuck in between the cage and the bird as A1 finally goes down to the Rizzler, and DRkILlxJOY is going to suffice with a Pyromancer going off to Flourish.
I don't know if I love that dive from Ellen. Does get 2 kills, so did a really, really good job in that regard. But on the flip side, they don't really have a person to zone for this Fire Giant. It might be Realty, the first one up, is looking really tanky. This Morgan build is unconventional, but I really love the way that Realty's playing this. Who is gonna get the Fire Giant as the fight starts?
That fight starts. Ragnarok's going to be topping on top of the Fear No Evil. Here comes Into the Sky is going to be DRkILlxJOY. Realty claims the first kill of the fight as JoyWolffe is going to go down, but DRkILlxJOY is going to get stuck into the fire And then the Rizzler is going to claim up one as Partroclez answers back with post-drama. Flourish claims the Fire Giant, but Realty's not done there. Pounds away and sends the Rizzler back. And now it's going to get walked out by 3 of them. Partroclez is sniffing out Realty. Does see where he is going to avoid that. Going to pop the bubble as well. A little extra damage, but isn't enough to find any CC onto Realty. So we'll be able to just walk under tower, but I think Partroclez might have bit off a little bit more than he can chew, and Realty sends him back home packing.
Unfortunately, I think Patcher thought his team was going to get there just a little bit quicker. I don't mind following on the dive, but into a 1v2, and especially into a surprisingly tanky mid laner, maybe not the best play. But notably, Flourish, they only have Fire Giant on 2 people. That was more a, hey, we're going to get some gold, you know, it's going to be fun. Then we're going to get Fire Giant, we're going to push these towers. So Dark Omen, still not in a horrible spot. The gold difference, admittedly, is pretty rough for this stage of the game. That being said, Flourish really hasn't grouped up as 5 and tried to siege towers yet. We haven't seen what Dark Omen could do. We only saw Flourish together once at mid lane, and it took them a while to get through that tier 2 tower.
Yeah, I agree. That's, I think, what we're gonna want to see more of is a little bit more objective play around these towers, making sure they're getting them down and being able to force problems in multiple lanes. Because I haven't really had to deal with any like forcing any soul laners to maybe TP over to deal with a pushed up lane or anything like that. But seeing a little bit of a mixed bag of fight between both the squads, and is going to retreat back under the T2. Or to the T2 rather. Jump coming in for Patcher is going to snag up 2. Sentinel Zeus is used. Here comes the Ragnarok looking for a target. Isn't going to find one just yet and gets stuck in the midst of it. JoyWolffe is going to get stuck and is going to fall to Realty into the back. The Rizzler finds a couple, but now RawToasts is going to need some assistance at the back as the Cocoon is completely walking it down at this Merlin. Going to get stuck. And one more ought to do it. One good dash will secure the life of RawToasts, and that's a complete deicide for Flourish, and is going to be able to walk down, and by the looks of it, going to be able to end this game.
They definitely should be, and I think Dark Omen's pathing really hurt them there. I probably would have tried to go under the tier 2 tower, wait for them to engage and get that tower damage pumping. Unfortunately, tried to take the fight outside, doesn't quite work out as they're going to lose game 1. Going to be exciting to see what they can return with for game 2.
Definitely with that, and we'll see you guys soon. We're going to break this one down on the desk.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't.
And we are back once again, Zexagon with KingFsher, bringing you the post game of game 1 between Flourish and Dark Omen. A very strong win coming out from Flourish. Some really strong team fights and some really good punishes towards the mid to late. We're able to send Flourish to the W column, as you know, right off the get-go, Realty having a very strong game coming off of this tanky Morgan Le Fay.
Crazy's at 14, 1 and 5, top player damage in the lobby. He had 2 damage items. Absolutely insane play from Realty on the Morgan Le Fay. Really, the team as a whole, all their ganks felt super crisp with POSTDRAMA. Well, that makes sense, and Crisp himself really doing a lot of work on that Ganesh Hunbots combo. I mean, the Cocoon late game could not be stopped, and really consistent pressure from KillJOY onto the structures. I mean, it's all around a really clean game from Flourish.
Yeah, and it's kind of really hard to, you know, you see the 14-1, you see, oh well, maybe that one was that guy was the guy who cleanly carried, and that's only a side of the coin. If you really think about it, the whole other side is the rest of his team was able to follow up with the consistent damage. They played well around each other. A lot of those Fear No Evils were great ultimates going up from post-drama that really were able to confirm a lot of the damage coming from that Morgan Le Fay or coming from KillJOY on Rama. And we're really able to find a lot of value in a lot of these ultimates.
Definitely, and then when we look to the other side on Dark Omen, I don't think they necessarily played a bad game. Their playstyle for most of the game was really consistent, really aggressive. If they didn't have such a large level disadvantage in that game, but they played the exact same way, I think it would have been much different. If they were on level, the fights they were picking were all good. They were making some good choices, but unfortunately got off to a little bit behind early and not quite able to adapt quick enough to come back from that one.
Yeah, and I fully agree with you. That's kind of the big story of the game is that they were able to Flourish was able to get their lead, and then they were just kind of able to push it down as far as they can. It was a little bit shaky coming off a little bit from that mid game, a little bit of a teeter totter kind of a team fight, if you will. But as the later the game goes, that lead that Flourish had became a little bit more dignified, and Dark Omen didn't really have an answer for how far ahead they Flourish was toward the end of that.
Definitely didn't, but if you're a Dark Omen fan, you're wanting to see them turn around Game 2. We can't really speculate too much on it until we see it, so that's going to do it for us in Game 1. We will see you back for match number 2, Dark Omen versus Flourish.
I'd always thought we would make it, but now you're gone. Baby, you're a ghost. I'm caught up in a landslide, mental on the low end. When I used to feel alive, now there's a hole in the city, can't feel shit. Where do I go? Cause I know you don't feel this. Can't catch a break for God's sakes. Feel like I'm waking up and I'm caught in a wake. Yeah, I know this is my funeral on parade. I did it to myself cause I always thought you would feel the same, and I know you don't. Drunk off the lights of a city, late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. Let's hit the brakes. I'm pulling out the parachute, jumping out the plane. You had it all in front of you, nothing feels the same. It's crazy what love can do, even crazier when it's not coming back to you. You say you need space, so I gave you all the states every night.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back once again, going and loading into picks and bans for Game 2 from a very strong Game 1 from Flourish. Dark Omen looking to answer back in Game 2. I am Zexous, joined once again by KingFsher.
Yeah, definitely good to be back here, and we are going to see them keep the same sides, and so far they are sticking with the same bans. That being said, if I'm Dark Omen, I don't know if I want to go back to the Freya first pick. I think Adon Steve did pretty good on the Freya, especially in the middle game, really flexing his muscles there from the duo lane, but unfortunately just not able to do quite enough late game to justify picking it first. I'd like to see them get a pick that really helps their transition, as I think that's where they got a little bit lost in Game 1, and getting a pick that helps you make that change a little bit easier, I think could go worlds into making them win this game too.
Definitely, I agree. I think they were on the right path. I think they had the right idea with their current draft Game 1. But I think something was just a little bit missing, maybe. I think that either it's a stronger engage or something with a bit more appeal, maybe having 3 warriors hit the back line, leaving leaving your mage and ADC more vulnerable. Maybe might not be the best course of action, but the soul is a little bit better than the Freya. I think a little bit better self peel with their disapparate. So might be looking in the right direction with the soul, but answering right back off Flourish is going to be the Freya of their own, matched again with the Morgan Le Fay again coming from Realty.
And I like the Freya much better on Flourish, I think. I think Crisp was able to peel a little bit better, and the dive from Dark Omen wasn't nearly as strong, so I think Freya should have an easier time going into that late game. And I gotta say, I cannot believe they didn't ban the Morgan Le Fay. I thought Morgan Le Fay was a much bigger problem than the Kakolin was. Maybe it's just Realty, though, able to poke out a lot and make that hybrid build work. Insanely hard to kill and getting really good damage. And I do like this change a lot more if we do see a Kalina and a Jingtian. Jingtian is a really versatile support, can be played both aggressively and passively. But no, it's a Ganesha. I also like that, to be fair.
Yeah, we have seen Joy pick up this Ganesha quite a bit and has proven is a very solid Ganesha player to, through and foremost. So I definitely can't really scoff too much at this Ganesha. I think it's a great pickup regardless. And yeah, lots definitely more in a better direction, I think, for more peel wise, as well as being able to really get in there and get down and dirty with the Dharmic pillars as well.
Definitely, and I do like seeing this cleanup pickup as well. We talked about game one, how the Fenrir offered a lot of versatility, a lot of flexibility to that draft. Kleina's going to do the exact same thing, can be piloted really well in the jungle. I've seen Kleina ADC, I love Kleina ADC, and even seeing Partroclez on it in the solo lane would be really, really good. He was able to get to the backline really efficiently as Nike last game, just not quite able to do all the damage, and a Khepri lock-in for Crisp on the other side. If I'm them, I would be banning out the Thanatos or the Achilles straight away.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. I think the Khepri is going to be great for the Flourish boys. I think it's just a solid pickup. You know, they already had a ton of great dive coming from A1 last game. As well, you know, Crisp can really get in there as well. But Khepri is going to be a little bit more of a lay back and chill kind of guardian for this team and what they're looking for here. So I don't hate this pick at all. I think it almost kind of offers the same as what they had with the Ganesh last game, minus the Darwin Pillars doing a ton of zoning and damage. But I think this Khepri will be able to do a little bit of the same, and it's just going to be a great pickup all in all. I think for Flourish.
It definitely should be. Like you said, doesn't really quite offer the amount of engage. The Ganeshas with the Dharmic Pillars are really good knockup. I think Khepri more of a defensive guardian, but although when Kepri's ahead, definitely can still run it down, be a very, very scary god to play into. I think that being said, I love banning out this Achilles. That means if Dark Omen want an execute, they gotta take Thanatos. That forces Kleina to the solo lane, where I think she's a little bit worse in the jungle. So a really, really smart ban coming from Flourish. And Hunbuff's ban on the other side, I do really like that. POSTDRAMA had a really, really strong game, especially early as the Hunbots.
Yeah, he had a really strong showing game one. A lot of those Fear No Evils just came in super clutch coming late game for Flourish. So makes sense to take that off the board as to round out their ban phase. They're going to take away Agni, and then Najah will be taken away from Flourish. So I'm interested to see what post drama is going to select here for jungle.
It's definitely going to be interesting. I don't think many junglers really play the same as the Hunbots does. He's a very, very unique character with a really strong ultimate. And I think he did get a lot of value from that Fear No Evil. Gonna get a lot more value from Thor. I think we talked about game one, was one of the top junglers. Saw him go completely unbanned, unpicked, and now we're gonna see it in post hands. This is a scary team comp from Flourish.
Yeah, it's completely terrifying. They have lots of ways to get in there, safe ways to get in there as well, and also safe ways to get out. And that's the most terrifying thing. You never want to see a Thor paired up with a Khepri, considering how strong Thor is just by himself. Let alone you get that Scarab's blessing on the Thor as well, and he's just going to be able to run wild in that backline and not really care what's coming at him.
Definitely is. There's going to be a lot of availability for Thor. I'm excited to see who they pair in the solo lane as well. I mean, Freya in her ultimate can survive long enough, but they have a Khepri and they have a Morgan Le Fay who had no troubles last game. It's really going to allow them to go pure aggression out of the solo lane for Eowyn. And it's going to be a Hercules, so it will be a Kleina jungle. Hercules solo. At least, I mean, I guess assuming that we don't see anything really, really wild out of the ordinary. I do like the Herc with Patra's playstyle. I think he can really pilot it and make life a little bit of a living hell for this Flourish backline.
Yeah, I agree, and Ah, Patros just to me is just one of those like soul lane menaces that you see quite a lot. He can play a lot of different things, and he can play a lot of different things really strong. So I don't doubt to see that he is going to be cooking in the soul lane, as they say, with this Hercules.
Absolutely should be. Let Patro cook has to be the name of the game. If you're Dark Omen, because I think was one of the really shining bright spots, obviously. Not quite able to get the pressure or KDA that they wanted, but played really consistently all game long. And a Horus solo. I don't know how I feel about that. I like Horus for the ultimate, but I don't think is going to be able to do as much as a Hercules is.
Definitely not. I think the name of the game for Horus is really just chill until that mid to late game when everyone starts grouping That's when you're going to see this horse really start to shine. Unless he can find the pick early. I mean, if they can pick off Patro early with the horse, maybe with the help of a gank, then really run wild with the horse in the soul lane. But all those questions will be answered going into game 2 of Flourish versus Dark Omen. We will catch you guys there. As my name is Zex, joined by Fish.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always thought we would make it, but now you're gone. Baby, you're a ghost. I'm caught up in a landslide, mental on the low end. When I used to feel alive, now there's a hole in the city, can't feel shit. Where do I go? Cause I know you don't feel this. Can't catch a break for God's sakes. Feel like I'm waking up and I'm caught in the wake. Yeah, I know this is my funeral on parade. I did it to myself cause I always thought you would feel the same, and I know you don't. Drunk off the lights of a city, late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. Let's hit the brakes. I'm pulling out the parachute, jumping out the plane. You had it all in front of you, nothing feels the same. It's crazy what love can do, even crazier when it's not coming back to you. You say you need space, so I gave you all the states. Every night a different place. Used to think we're getting close, and now we're drifting away. And all I can say is that I'm feeling wasted. I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken.
Alrighty, and we are back loaded in for game 2. Once again, Zexagon joined by KingFsher as we are looking to see how if Dark Omen can force a game 3 coming. As with all these buffs started up, we're gonna see. What do you reckon about Soap going into this game, Fisher? Who do you favor?
I gotta say, I mean, I'll preface it with that I like Dark Omen's draft a lot. I think in most cases, I would favor them, but we saw how Flourish played this last game. Killjoy's on a god he can really, really hard carry with after a quiet game 1. Realty's running it back after an insane game 1. If it was any other team, I would favor Dark Omen, but I think I have to give it to Flourish in this comp.
Yeah, I really just do like Flourish's draft all in all. I think you can kind of tell how this is gonna play out for what Flourish is looking for in a lot of these fights. Then you got a big dive coming up from POSTDRAMA. A1 able to really get in there as well with Horus's ultimate too. You know, you're gonna get consistent damage from Realty and Killjoy as well. And Chris was just kind of really able to, you know, if something bad goes south, then is able to try and make up for it with Scarab's blessing. So
Definitely offers a lot of value to the team, makes you just feel a little bit safer at night, which is all you can really ask for. I gotta say, as now POSTDRAMA misses a stun, unfortunately for him. I don't think we're gonna see much action here. I don't know if Post needed the bead zap, but anyway, Rizzler does get the beads. Feeling happy, we'll walk away from that one. I think what I was gonna say before those two junglers bickering cut me off is that if Realty goes the same build this game, I'm going to be interested to see how it does. I think he was able to because of the tanky jungler, but JoyWolffe not tanky enough yet. Eats a tower shot, goes back to the grave.
a very beautiful wall coming up from POSTDRAMA too. Also forces out the shell, I believe, as well, coming from Joy too, and that's gonna secure off first blood for the Freya actually. Killjoy getting it, but Bees getting used up by Steve is going to try and take out Chris, but will not be good enough. POSTDRAMA finds one of his own, and Steve goes back to base. That's an easy 2-0 on the side of Flourish. very big rotation coming out from POSTDRAMA early on.
Really good gank from the Thor. That's what we weren't able to see on the Hun boss, just a sheer amount of CC maneuverability that the Monkey doesn't quite have, but on the Thor, really able to maneuver around that lane, get the kills. Great job from POSTDRAMA. Now Flourish again are going to get off to an early lead. So Owen does have a health advantage over Patro. Not used to seeing that with a Horus versus a Hercules.
Definitely, both these solo laners low on mana and pretty low on health as well. Gets joined up by both junglers. Gonna find a nice little hit off the hammer from Post, but not enough to take away the Herc's life, and that's gonna be a retreat back into that shield buff as well. Looking back on Duo's side, pressure is on the side of Flourish. Gonna look for a grab on Steve, possibly miss on the dash to JoyWolffe. Joy gonna pound out a little bit of damage, and that's really all there is going to be to it. Not too much kill potential just yet, but working on it.
Definitely is still working on it. Now Flourish, the gold buff is down. I'm a little bit surprised they didn't elect to go for a purple buff invade. They did have level advantage, certainly have pressure advantage with the Rizzler being on the right side of the map at the moment. Although they're going to get their own purple buff very, very safely. Nothing to worry about there. In mid lane, again, RawToasts and Realty just duking it out. We didn't see much jungle pressure there last game. I doubt we see any there this game, as they are piloting the same picks, I believe. I think RawToasts was the Merlin game 1, right? Just a different skin. The skin is really tripping me up.
Yeah. So we did see Toasts play the Merlin last game. Had a pretty good showing on it, I'd say. I'd say he played it pretty well. Can't really have too much complaints about the Merlin last. Wasn't able to really get as much as they probably would have liked in terms of value out of it. But if the Merlin can find splitting again this game, I really think that Toast will have no problem putting out damage again on Merlin.
I definitely think so, and I think we covered it on the desk. It wasn't necessarily that Dark Omen's playstyle or anything was bad, just a little bit of a bad circumstance. It's one of the few times you see a really big loss, and I don't think that they should change anything in the way they played. They do have a better draft now. JoyWolffe in some trouble, gonna have to drop the DRxKILLers if he wants to get out. Might be able to dash away, though.
And here comes the Anvil of Dawn coming up from POSTDRAMA. Is gonna find Joy, and big slows coming off from the pulse autos from Killjoy is gonna finally secure off JoyWolffe, and another great wall coming from, but will not be good enough for the Zapparate. Steve looking to go on the rebuttal as Crisp is able to find that last dash out to keep himself alive, and Steve is going to unfortunately be empty-handed.
Crisp has done a great job keeping himself alive, even without the Scarab's blessing this game. Really like to see that Khepri get so engaged in these teamfights and still live. Now the Rizzler takes a bunch of damage from Realty. Ain't gone wrong in mid and uses the Horn Shard to get some of those cooldowns back. It's going to force Rizzler out of lane. And the XP buff isn't up, green buff isn't up. Oh, missing out on all the XP there. Not a good feeling if you're a jungler.
Yeah, it's feeling real bad, especially when you lose a ton of that farm, and it really just starts to hurt. We saw it with the Hunbats as well from POSTDRAMA, and we're seeing it with the Thor too, going for that first item Transcendence. Haven't seen a whole ton of it, at least in my experience, but lots of damage coming out from both. Patrick gets to clear up, and A1 chucks an ult out just to see what'll happen, but we'll get the Hercules to secure his own blue buff.
Little bit of a late ultimate. Surprise Patro didn't ult the wave there. Something we see Hercs do a lot. And yeah, like you said, the Transcendence first item, I definitely don't hate it. It's just going to mean that Thor has to focus a little bit more on farming instead of ganking, which I'm not sure if I like that aspect. Now Flourish trying to contest these Harpies. Wow, not much damage coming out. Oh, Ratoso takes a serious chunk of health.
Yeah, forces out the flicker as well, so is going to be sent back and going back to his T1. Chris getting caught out a little bit by JoyWolffe. Knockup will be good, but JoyWolffe joins him up. Big knockup coming out from RawToasts will send Killjoy back into the jungle. And the Rizzler is around, though. Does spot out Chris, but doesn't have enough damage to really seal the deal just yet. DRxKILLers coming out for Chris, but really looking. Scarab's Blessing is going to be used on himself, and we'll be able to dash out to safety for now. Merlin's damage just a little bit off the mark. Anvil of Dawn gets popped up by POSTDRAMA, but decides to go towards the Rizzler, but is anything spot dealt off to the MLF, but nothing too crazy there, and that's really going to be all she wrote off that, as both teams going their own way.
It is, and I like seeing POSTDRAMA immediately disengage from that fight despite the aggressive ult. Definitely the smart play on the Thor's part. Still gonna stay alive, keep farming. Only 17 stacks of Transcendence, normally goes up really fast in lanes. Obviously gonna go slower in the jungle, so something to keep an eye on. And looking across the board, it does look like Realty is gonna go for the same build path again at first glance. I don't know if I like it as much without the tanky jungler. You're going to get a lot less value onto the Rizzler from Tablet Destinies. That being said, though, if he does opt for it, it should go great against Patro, who's been the main initiation for Dark Omen.
Yeah, and maybe Realty's just going with the whole idea of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, he popped off last game on it. But speaking of that, going into the dual lane, POSTDRAMA does gank up Steve and will claim Steve as well with the help of DRkILlxJOY. Valkyrie's discretion was used to secure up to keep Killjoy safe, and with that, another one down. A 4-0 lead coming out from Flourish right now, looking strong.
Definitely like to see it if you are a Flourish fan. Now they're going to turn their attention over to the Gold Fury. No contention from Dark Omen. Probably smart. Gold Fury's nice, but certainly not worth losing an extra life for. I think the only one they should really be looking for would be POSTDRAMA on the Thor. Really high value with 2 kills, 2 assists. And easier to kill than the Freya at this stage when they're all still in lane. We're going to see a really spread out approach. Dark Omen, they're playing a little bit less connected than Flourish is, and I think as a result we're seeing jungle control, and a lot of these fights kind of slide Flourish's way.
Rizzler peeking his head. Really good. He's going to stay in their tower and kind of chill. You can really ask for at the moment. Looking back mid, Toast's going to find a little bit of damage coming off Chris, but that's going to be really all there is to it, as we're really just looking at the farm game right now. Nothing too crazy happening at the moment. Towards the lane, POSTDRAMA, Anvil of Dawn coming up, going to look to try and get a nice little gank on Patro here. Is going to land on the wall, going to be good. One more ought to do it, and Hammer is good. Dunk is good. POSTDRAMA gets the kill.
And a really good kill at that. Now the Thor has 3. Rizzler dropping really low. They might find one onto Killjoy. Nobody dove rather, with the Ganesha. Dived isn't a word.
Oh, but this is getting a little bit scary, though, because here comes Realty, gonna be stuck. And on the other side, here comes Crisp, too. Finds out the Rizzler. JoyWolffe goes down. And speaking of that, on top of that, so does the Rizzler. Another one down, and Steve might be on the menu next, but DRkILlxJOY takes a ton of damage off that Stellar Burst and is forced to retreat.
Unfortunately for Steve, they're not quite able to secure the first kill for their team. I started off looking like a really good gank from Dark Omen, but it looked like just a little bit of miscommunication under the tier 1 towers. I mean, hey, the slightest misunderstanding can really shut down a push. I think that's what we saw at hand there as a gold grows over to 3,000 in 10 minutes. Not a great feeling. That being said, though, I don't think Flourish are insanely far ahead. Dark Omen still have a good map presence, despite being so far behind. They've also taken the only tower of the map. So definitely Gold not telling the entire story in this match so far. Oh, JoyWolffe might be in trouble.
JoyWolffe is in trouble, going to be forced out. Knock-up coming off of Realty will force JoyWolffe close to the tower. But here comes POSTDRAMA. Wall's going to be good. It's going to block off Joy. Lots of damage coming out. Shell is going to be used as well. And one more grab ought to do it from Khepri. Will be doing enough damage from Realty. Will secure Excavate coming out off of Patro. And A1 is on the chase. Will we get to fly to the minions under tower and be safe and sound on that. Pyro pulled off by Flourish. So this is kind of what we were talking about too. We wanted to see a little bit more objective play coming out from Flourish, and we're seeing that now in full force. The Rizzler, actually the Rizzler steals it off, stripping the Pyro away from Flourish. A really great ultimate. Here comes the Anvil of Dawn that was going to go right into the wall. Killjoy picks up Toasts and might want to try and look for a kill onto Crisp. One more ought to do it, and one more is good. But then Realty comes to the back, sorts him out, and POSTDRAMA is stuck in between the Dharmic pillars and can't find that last shot. Hammer throw will be good. Teleport will get him out. A1 is going to kill off Partroclez with the help of Killjoy. Killjoy tanking up that tower, so A1 gets to live on another day. Realty still chasing down this elephant. He is completely determined. Is going to find one more out of doing. One more will be good. Realty is on an absolute tear in this set, claiming up another kill for his 4th of the game.
Wouldn't expect anything else from this Morgan Le Fay. I think it went overlooked in that fight. The absolute juke masterclass from POSTDRAMA. It's easier to dodge range autos, but dodging a melee character inside Dharmic Pillars for that long and getting out, great job by the Thor. And I did really like that play from the Rizzler. Stole away the Pyromancer, didn't pick up the bomb, but got a kill on the back end. Really, really well played, even though they paid with their own life. Now, attention towards the Gold Fury. I like seeing Dark Omen look towards his objective early. Rizzler might be out of position.
That might be scary, though. Dash to kind of secure it may put the Rizzler in a bit of trouble here. Crisp is sniffing him out, but POSTDRAMA might be the one in trouble now. Dark Pillars dropped off. Is going to be able to get him out, but RawToasts is going to claim up Crisp. Crisp goes down. And now JoyWolffe gets the whoop coming out off of DRkILlxJOY. The stun off the wall will be good enough for POSTDRAMA to secure off Joy with the hammer toss. RawToasts in trouble again. Very good Aegis will save his life so far. Valkyrie's discretion won't, though. DRkILlxJOY will pick up RawToasts, as well as POSTDRAMA decides to come in with a little extra support with Diane Villadone.
Good job from POSTDRAMA helping to clean up the kill there just in case. But all the kills do go ahead and fall to Flourish. Might be looking for Steve. Uh-oh, the Soul is very, very out of position here. This, all things considered, should be a kill, and then it should be a Primal Fury. If it's anything else, I don't think Flourish played it right. See what happens, though.
Definitely already getting into the zap rate, but it's going to be joined off by Realty. JoyWolffe is the only one to help him. It's going to be good enough. The beads are going to be good. It's going to go into the ultimate off of Realty. Shots won't be good enough, though. Steve will get to live on, but unfortunately for the Gold Fury, can't say the same thing for that, as Flourish will claim up the Primal. Whoop going to be good on to JoyWolffe. Drag going to be coming in from Crisp, but does get the dash out, so will get to live on for now. Coming off the top rope, though, we do see RawToasts peeking his head out, trying to see if he can't snap out Killjoy. Dark Pillars gets dropped off by Joy. Wall's going to be good. Tons of damage coming off the Rizzler, and now is completely stuck. Gets out, but here comes A1 with the ultimate with coming from the horse, is going to try and walk down the Rizzler. Anvil Dawn comes out and is going to be looking at RawToasts as A1 is going to spread them out and kind of chase down this Cleo. Goes under the T1 tower. One more auto ought to do it. The dash will be good. A1 is still trying to secure off this kill onto the Rizzler. With the help of the whoop from the Freya on Killjoy, will finally secure off the Riz.
And again, we see Flourish step up, step really aggressive. They pull back, and Dark Omen goes a little bit too far. The three of them were not able to confirm Killjoy. Patro falls to the grave as well. Maybe?
Oh, maybe not.
Oh,
this Hercules is on a mission. Completely saves his life there. Somehow, there was just not enough damage to be able to seal the deal.
Unfortunately, not for Flourish. The Hercules stays alive, and the Soul stayed alive in that fight too as well. Although, I don't think it's a fail. I was lying when I said that. They got the Gold Fury. It's good enough. That being said, when we look at Dark Omen, I'm a little bit concerned because it doesn't seem like they've really learned from the last game. They're still trying to play the same, and they're stepping a little bit too far up on the contest. They have a Merlin, they have Dharmic Pillars, they have Kalina's Veils. They have a lot of utility on their team to really do damage from a distance and impact the fight without really sacrificing themselves. But time and time again, they're getting a little bit too over-aggressive. Definitely needs to change if they're going to turn this around late game. 6,000 down, 6,000 gold down, 16 minutes in isn't fun, but they have a lot of towers left. It's definitely still a winnable game if you're Dark Omen.
And it's definitely not crazy. It all starts with one team fight. If you can get that one team fight to be able to shift the tides into your favor, then you can really run with it. All they need is that one good fight that really goes the way of Dark Omen, and then it's going to be completely in their hands if they're able to take advantage of the power play after that fight.
Definitely, and now Flourish do pick up the Pyromancer. Patro the target again, saw him escape last time. Can he do the same? Indeed he will. The elephant walking over dissuades him. Crisp taking a little bit of poke. I don't think the Khepri's too worried. Has Scare Blessing, but the Elephant needs to be worried. My goodness, a delete JoyWolffe. That should open the door for this Fire Giant if it's going to be the call.
Definitely. We did see Anvil Dawn getting charged up by POSTDRAMA. Decides to land right down on Patro, but Patro will get to live to see another day. A1 charging the ultimate off the horse, decides to dive right into the T2 tower. Excavate is good. Crisp going to be forced to use the Scares Blessing on himself, but back under tower is Patro. RawToasts is finally going to get cleaned up by A1, and now Patro is going to be looked at by Crisp. One shot from the Riz will send the Crisp back, but here comes DRkILLer coming from the back. Is going to look to try and claim up Realty with the help of Patro. But lots of damage from Realty is going to send Patro out. Not really going to be able to clean up. As the blink coming in, the dash unfortunately not good. But here comes the damage from Realty. Still alive though from Patro. Still on his mission. As is able to retreat back out into his own base. But unfortunately, the T1 tower in mid will fall.
And although that was a really, really good sustained fight from Flourish, I thought they played that really well. They did a good job getting their players out when they needed to make sure the health bar stayed high enough. I think that might have been one of the first missteps we've seen. They had a really good opportunity to do that Fire Giant. We've seen that Dark Omen like to step up to objectives. I mean, worst comes to worst, you force a fight on your terms when Dark Omen aren't ready for it. That being said, they get a tier 1 and an Oni Fury, so still definitely not a bad play, just maybe a little bit more potential. Flourish, though, still looking in a really good spot, can definitely use those Oni waves to generate a lot of pressure. Rizzler's in trouble, steps too far up.
Yeah, he's in trouble, gets to pull off by Crisp, but Realty is not going to join up for any follow-up damage. Didn't look like there was much to really work with there regardless, so not a bad idea, that's simply just to walk away. And I know we were talking about it last game, and obviously we've already made note of it this game, but to see Realty run back this same tanky build from this Morgan and still being able to really, get a lot of good consistent damage is completely crazy coming from Morgan and my
Ooh, now Patro dropping low in the enemy jungle.
Gets the stun off, isn't going to find the slow, but the whoop is going to be good off Killjoy. Wall will follow suit, and with that, POSTDRAMA is going to follow up and kill up Patro into the Anvil of Dawn. Is going to land right onto the Rizzler, and is going to find the double kill for the Thor. That's a 7-0-5 right now for the jungler of Flourish.
Looking really good indeed. Now they're going to step up to the Fire Giant. If I'm JoyWolffe, I would not even try to contest this, because you're going to lose your life if you step up and try to go for the Dharmic Pillar. You need that Ganesh on the defense, and with how behind they are, again in gold, not necessarily XP this time, but in gold especially, you need everything you can have on the defense. But Eowyn drawn away. Oh, not quite.
I did like the attempt. Didn't die for it either, so not the worst thing in the world coming from JoyWolffe. Sometimes you just gotta risk it for the biscuit,
Very safe attempt. With the Horus missing, I don't mind that at all. Maybe a little bit late on deploying the Dharmic Pillars, but, I mean, nothing ventured, nothing gained. At least took the chance. Now tier 2 is gonna fall. They got Thor split pushing in left. That's gonna keep Soul away. Flourish have a really good opportunity here to push for this Phoenix. They have a Runic Bomb in pocket as well. It's doable, but they might need to find a kill first. Target's JoyWolffe.
Target is JoyWolffe as they are looking to take down the Elephant right away, and A1 is going to do that. Excavate will be good. The ultimate coming out from Realty is going to find a little bit of damage too, but the Fleur front line is getting a little bit hurt for wear here. RawToasts forced to flicker back under tower as DRkILlxJOY is going to take out Partroclez and into the jungle of the left-hand side. A little bit of a mix-up coming here from POSTDRAMA and Steve. Finally gets knocked out. A1 going to be zoning off Toasts and is going to be looking to try and kill off the Rizzler here. One more ought to do it. Is not going to be able to find it though. One more. Oh, just barely off the mark.
And as POSTDRAMA falls on the back end, Eowyn gets out. Oh, Killjoy now the target. This might turn bad for Flourish. Good re-engage from Dark Omen.
Definitely. A1 decides to go back and knock up Steve. One more ought to do it. Great triple knock-up coming from RawToasts. Valkyrie's discretion forced out from Killjoy, jumping right back in as A1, but is going to get completely knocked up right away off of JoyWolffe. And right back in. A little bit more damage is unfortunately needed to really take anything here, but seems like Dark Omen is going to die on this T2 in mid tower.
And you know, maybe I missed something in left, but I do not quite know why they tried to go for that Thor instead of backing, helping to defend the Phoenix. They made it a 4-on-2 on the Phoenix. Definitely not worth getting a kill if you lose a bird. It's just going to put you further behind in that lane. That being said, really good turnaround though. They do eventually get POSTDRAMA down, and taking the Fire Giant buff away from that Thor is a good move. They made some space for themselves, but now what can they do with it? They gotta try and make a proactive play. As bad as it might turn out, if you just sit and wait, it's gonna get a lot worse before it gets better.
Fully agree with you there, and it's definitely a step in the right direction, getting that fire off that Thor. That's definitely something to at least look up on for now. But on the other side of the coin, you still have, you know, a 4-0 Horus, a 5-0 Morgan, and a 7-0 Freya still rocking that Fire Giant, and all very big threats in this game right now. So, especially like looking at the damage chart, you have top 4 right now on Flourish rocking the damage charts. Going towards the dual lane though, Anvil Dawn's gonna be good, gonna catch up. Steve gonna be slacking, and he's gonna go right to base without even saying a word. Another pickup coming from POSTDRAMA.
That is pretty impressive though. I've never seen somebody go back to base instantly without even finishing their back. But that being said, POSTDRAMA does get a really good kill, and shutting down Anon Steve is a great move for this push, because the backline of Dark Omen, they're on level, they're doing their damage on the team. Shutting them down definitely has to be the play. The front line for Dark Omen has been struggling this match. Doesn't matter if you kill them quite early, but without having that soul on defense, that's going to be a killer for Dark Omen. Flourish, I would definitely like to see them get aggressive before this soul gets up back out of the grave.
Yeah, definitely, and they're gonna start kickstarting it with this T2 in mid tower. That should fall no problem. A little bit of damage coming out from onto Killjoy, but this T2 tower will finally fall with one more. There we go. Finally good to go. But now Crisp gets knocked up. Is gonna get knocked up again, coming off of JoyWolffe, but JoyWolffe is completely stuck. Realty is gonna claim it, and a very nice Anvil Dawn coming out will knock him down. Killjoy looking to finish off Partroclez, and will finally do it there onto the back end. We'll finally get a triple kill coming out from Killjoy as well. Trying to make it a quadra. Unfortunately not. POSTDRAMA wants one for himself, so that's going to be another one for the Thor with a D side. And all 5 down. Seems like it seems fit to knock down this Titan for a clean 2-0 for Flourish.
And it really is a clean 2-0. It's a dominant 2-0 as well. Unfortunately for Dark Omen, not quite able to adapt quick enough, but we'll be sure to cover it more on the desk when we come back from game number 2.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't.
It was a wild game too. We saw a much more dominant Flourish team. If you're a fan, you love it. If you're a Dark Omen fan, maybe hoping for better days ahead. But that being said, it wasn't a horrible loss, all things considered, from Dark Omen. I think it's very similar to the first game. They did play together as a team well. They certainly had flashes where it looked like they could pull it back, but unfortunately, a little bit too much at the wrong times, and Flourish are able to secure game 2. Don't even have to go to game 3 either.
Yeah, definitely not. And it's really kind of, you don't really need to go too much into it for this one, because you can kind of already tell by a lot of the KDAs how this game went. It was a pretty convincing win coming from Flourish. Yeah, they Dark Omen, they were really trying to get in there. They were trying to make something. Unfortunately, weren't able to ever really get the ball rolling on this one, and Flourish was just kind of able to kind of just get it done and knock down that Titan pretty quickly. And it was just it was a clear and concise game from the Flourish boys.
It really was. I feel like I've talked about how Dark Omen didn't have a bad game a lot, but I mean, looking at the other side at Flourish, they had a great game. Despite that one fight that went on a little bit long at mid, where they got Onis instead of Fire Giant, I think it was perfect, and although that play still turned out really well, they got Onis, they got kills, so it doesn't matter at the end of the day. And that's an incredibly strong showing, especially from a team on their first week. Did not expect that level of coordination and that level of confidence.
Yeah, the guys just kind of stepped up and they did what they needed to do. They pumped out a lot of good damage. You know, Realty had another really solid game playing on this this tanky MLF. You know, really able to pump out tons of damage and really unable to really die from what it seems like. Realty was able to kind of step in at one point to 3 or 4 of them and not feel like he was ever in danger from what it felt like, at least from my perspective. POSTDRAMA found a lot of really great picks for the Anvil Dons were once again really strong for the god. A1 had some really good, engages off the horse alts.
They did. I know we were questioning it on the desk a little bit, but the Horus looked nice, 4-0 and 11, great stat line. And I love seeing that from Flourish. I mean, Game 1 was a Realty show, but Game 2, DRkILlJOY and POSTDRAMA really shined through their team. Both had an absolute incredible performance after still good, but quieter Game 1. And on the flip side from Dark Omen, if we're looking at anything good to take away from this, I thought their backline played very well both games. Scoreline doesn't quite show it, but with the amount of dive they were receiving and still able to get those damage numbers up, they looked really good on escapes multiple times. Definitely something to build off. I think just need a little bit better coordination between their solo and jungle. Felt like they were playing independently sometimes, and that's not what you want when you're trying to dive a team as polished as Flourish is right now.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you.
Definitely. I have heard I'm pretty fun to agree with, but I think that's going to do it today for us. I've been KingFsher, casting along with Zexous. We've had iNooblet on camera and production, so make sure you guys stay tuned. There will be much more Season 2 action next time on the Smite Draft League.
I'm pulling out the parachute, jumping out the plane. You have